we're going.
So, what if we just started the episode like we were talking like normal? Like, what if we're talking about starting the episode? What if we just
instead of
started
having an
talking?
actual intro?
Yeah, because
Or
the
like,
intro is hard. You have to put a lot into thinking about an intro.
that's true.
And it's a lot
Kind
of
of like
build
the
up.
irony of it.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's a lot of build up though. It's a lot of pressure. There's too much pressure in starting an episode, right? So
It's kind of nerve-wracking a
I
little
feel like
bit.
right now, if we just put this at the beginning of the episode, you play the intro music. It fades into this.
And then the episode has now started.
Yeah, it's like you're just joining a conversation instead of like.
It's like you're actually here.
Yeah, it's like
Welcome to the conversation, everyone.
you're listening, listener. Now, welcome. We're just talking about you and us.
All
and
good
here we
things. Yeah.
are.
But at what point do you actually cut into what you're planning to talk about? There has to be some type of transition.
Probably about right now. So welcome to the podcast. It's a world out there. I'm Tyler. I'm here with Dallas and Carter.
How's it going? It's been a
That's
long
me.
time.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, it's been a long time. It's been 2+ years. I think we talked about on our last episode where we were going to be and where we have been for those 2 years. Dallas, you want to give me like a 30-second elevator pitch, sum up what we've been doing for 2 years?
Well, we've definitely gone and seen a lot more of the world than the last time we had this episode. All went out on our missions and had different experiences there. So we're kind of just all reconnected. Today's the first day we've all been able to get back together, and we thought we'd hit it with another podcast episode.
Amen.
Pretty sweet.
That's definitely true. Carter, give me your elevator pitch. What is a mission for the listener who may not know what that means?
So, a mission is when you leave your home for 2 years and you sacrifice for the Lord, and you go and you work hard to share the gospel with people, talk about Jesus Christ, and you go away from home. So for me, I went to Dallas, Texas. Tyler did as well. Then Dallas went to Everett, Washington. So we're kind of spread out to an extent.
Kind of. Well, like relatively
really
not
close.
really. Carter and I were really close. There was one point where we were like 30 minutes away from each other.
That one day when you were in the hospital with your companion, I was in the restaurant right next to the hospital.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah.
No way.
So
Well-
like less than like half a mile away.
That's true. I do remember that day.
So
That was
actually
crazy.
pretty close. Sorry,
That's
Dallas.
Crazy. In the grand scheme of things, I wasn't that far away.
Well, yeah.
We
he was
were
only a
in
few states
Dallas
away.
though. So like
I know. So it was Carter and I were in Dallas. Dallas is Dallas.
That's me.
This
So we
is
were
just a
connected the
win
whole
all
time.
around.
That's not very normal, by the way. How many missions are in the world? Hundreds.
Oh,
There's
so many.
400, around 400.
Yeah, 400,
or
right?
so.
So
That sounds about right.
I mean, you could go anywhere from South
Fiji.
America, Africa, Australia, Asia, all over the continent.
Kansas.
Yeah, you could go to Kansas even. Topeka.
Yeah.
That's in Kansas.
Why Topeka?
That's just my name starts with a T. Topeka starts with a T.
That's
I think that's valid.
I don't think anyone actually lives in Topeka, Kansas.
Well, I think it is a made-up town.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone from there, so I can't confirm if it's real.
Well, I have, so I actually shouldn't say it's a made-up town. It's probably offensive to.
So you can vouch for
The
them.
one
anyone from-
Topeka, yeah.
If anyone from Topeka's listening, I'm sorry. I apologize. I did not mean to insult your existence, the existence of your town. It's a lovely town, Topeka. It starts with a T, so is my name. So we have a lot in common. I'm sure we'd be great friends, listener. From
And if
Topeka.
you're listening, then we're honored. that
Yeah.
If you're
listening
from
right now.
Topeka, you should probably get off this podcast.
Yeah, they should not be listening to this podcast. This is strictly for those who are not from Topeka, Kansas.
I sustain this.
Anyways, just kidding.
Well, to get us kicked off, I wanted to ask you guys, what would you say is like the biggest area of growth that you have seen yourself improve in over the course of that time that we've been apart?
I think I could take this one first. I definitely feel a lot more. My view of the world has changed a significant amount. I feel like I've gotten a lot more like different perspectives on just different things. And I feel a lot more confident in myself, just how I carry myself. So even though I know not what's going on, I'm doing it with a little bit more faith and confident in what's going on. So
Yeah, I like that. I'd say the same for me. Just a disclaimer for those who are listening. We're going to talk probably a lot about Jesus during this, probably talk a lot about church things, maybe use church words that are a little confusing to some who aren't familiar. Um, but, and if you're uncomfortable with that, then this is not the episode for you. But I would say something very similar to what Dallas said. In the New Testament, in Matthew chapter 13, Jesus is talking to the apostles, the disciples, and they ask him, why do you teach in parables? And he tells them, because they don't understand what I'm saying. You guys understand, but they don't understand, so I'd have to teach them in parables. And he talks to them, and he says that they have eyes to see and ears to hear. And I think for me on my mission, that's what I came away with. I came away with eyes to see and ears to hear things as they really are. In the Book of Mormon, Jacob, he talks about things as they really are. And that's kind of what I came away understanding, is what actually matters in life, what doesn't. Before my mission, I would say my priorities were pretty skewed. I kind of prioritized like things that maybe made me happy in the moment or kind of were fleeting. But, like the gospel or family, those things were not necessarily as high on my priority list as they should have been. And now that's different. Those things mean a lot more to me. The relationships I have, the people I know, things that I care about are a lot more lasting than they were before. So that's what I'd say is the biggest change.
I like that a lot. I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned is kind of what it, like, a lot of the time as a missionary, you knock on doors or you street contact people, go up to them, just try to help them to build their faith. And a lot of people, they'll kind of turn you away saying, like, I already know Jesus. Like, I already...
Especially in Texas.
Especially in Texas.
They love barbecue and they love Jesus.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys.
That's very true. And their state.
The Holy Trinity of Dallas, Texas. Barbecue, Cowboys, and Jesus.
Did you know that Texas is the only place that can put their flag above the American flag?
They do that. And
That's
they also,
crazy.
they say the Texas state anthem every morning
At school?
after the national anthem at school.
No
Wow.
way.
They do say
I
that.
did not know that.
That's crazy.
Lots of pride.
Yeah. And I can see it whenever someone says, like, oh, I know Jesus, that's okay.
I know the Lord. That's what they say. Those the people I talk to, that's what they would say. How
It
they would
sounds
say
like
it.
they just tripped on their own tongue.
Basically, they're awesome.
But to me, it's like, when I say I know Jesus, am I doing the things that show that? And so that's been a lot of a change for me, just thinking about the fact that I would consider myself a disciple of Jesus Christ, but I can't just stop at saying it. I need to act. Like, I need to have faith, and faith includes action in the way of following Jesus Christ's example and doing those things that he would want me to do. And that's something that I've thought a lot about recently, and it's kind of changed the way, just like Dallas said, kind of changed the way that I look at the world and almost look at other people as well. Because if I have any like hate or prejudice in my heart, I'm kind of out of alignment with the Savior and his teachings. So I can't truly say, like, I know him, or I can't truly say, like, I'm a disciple. Like, obviously I'm imperfect in that effort, but I'm sure trying. But that's
Yeah,
sweet.
that's very true.
Yeah. I think that having that faith has made, like, a huge difference for me. Because I feel like I definitely had, like, faith and trust before, but I just didn't know, like, what direction to take in life. And even though now I still don't know, like, exactly what's going on or where, like, my life is going to end up, I feel like I can kind of see the path ahead of me illuminated. And I just got to keep doing those, like, little habits to stay close to the Lord. And I know and I have faith that, you know, God has a plan and things are going to end up the way that they're supposed to. So I feel like that's, like, one thing the mission taught me is just, like, you know, trust in the Lord and things are going to work out.
Lean not unto thine own understanding.
Exactly.
That's definitely a lot of what a mission is. You do a lot of weird things as a missionary. You go and knock on random people's front doors and they're just so uninterested in talking to you, but you're so interested in talking to them. And it's a very weird dynamic. You're not paid as a missionary. In fact, you actually pay a lot of money to go out and do this thing, to share the message. It's a beautiful message and it's a beautiful thing. but you do a lot of weird things. And somehow, there's a lot of times for me where I felt like I was doing a certain thing, and I was just like, how in the world am I going to get anywhere with this? Like, how is this going to yield any fruit in terms of my goal as a missionary to help people come into Christ? But it always works out. Like, you always just put in the effort. It's like the law of the harvest, right? You put in a lot of effort, and sometimes the crops, they come quick and you get a lot of yield. But then sometimes you put in a lot of effort and you have to put in that effort for a really long time, and you don't get a lot of yield on your crop for a while. It's a long maturation time on that crop, and it takes a long time for it to grow. But when it finally does grow, after you've put in the effort, you've been watering it, you've been trying, you've been consistent and diligent, then it comes, and the reward is bountiful, and it's amazing. And that's what a mission is, and that's, I think, what life is too. I think about family or any relationship. You put in the effort up front, you put in effort over a long period of time, building that relationship, working on it, overcoming challenges. With any relationship, a friendship, relationship with your sibling, your parent, anything. And it can be hard, and you don't get a lot of return at first sometimes. But at the end of the day, the return will come. The blessings do come. And at the end of a mission, you look back over 2 years and you think about all the things that you did, and you wonder, man, did I do everything that I should have done? Did I do all the things I needed to do? Does God approve of what I did and who I was and what I gave him for the past 2 years?
It passed by as if it were a dream.
As if it were a dream, yeah. Strangers, wanderers in a strange land.
Yeah. So I guess for you, so kind of looking back on yourself pre-mission, was your mission like all that you expected it to be? Like, in what ways did it exceed expectations? In what ways did it meet expectations, or like fall short of expectations? What would you say?
In my opinion, it exceeded my expectations in every category. It was a lot more work than I thought it would be. It was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. It was a lot more rewarding than I thought it would be. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. It was a lot weirder than I thought it would be. Like, a lot of weird experiences. And it was a lot more fulfilling than I thought it would be. I found myself waking up every day, regardless of whether or not I had a hard day ahead of me or behind me. I found myself waking up every day at 6:30 in the morning, feeling excited and fulfilled, like I was doing something meaningful. Which, honestly, I don't know if I ever had a feeling like that in that kind of a way before my mission. So, yeah.
It's very cool to be part of a greater purpose.
Yeah, something bigger than yourself.
And I was talking to someone recently. It was actually my mom, kind of just talking about like how I've changed, and I think, or like changed on my mission. Because at the beginning of my mission, I kind of struggled with different things, and then at a certain point, I feel like I kind of just took off. Me and my mom were talking about that, and I kind of realized that I kind of took off when I stopped worrying about myself and started worrying more about others, realizing that, you know, this isn't about me. I'm here to help people. I'm here to go out and to help others, and I think that's a big part of being part of that greater purpose almost.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you the same question, Dallas. How would you say it exceeded or all those things?
I think I would definitely echo Tyler's answer. It definitely exceeded it in every way. It definitely was a very uncomfortable experience at time. Like being able to just like go up to people like while they're shopping for groceries or going to a park to just try and talk to people. Like, it was definitely like very uncomfortable, but also like Tyler said, like very rewarding. And just the people I was able to interact with, like people that honestly changed my life that I never would have met if I hadn't gone out on my mission. So it was just an experience I'll forever look back on, that has totally blessed my life.
Yeah, that's true. So Carter just got back a couple of days ago from the mission. I got back about 3 months ago.
I've been back for about 5 months now.
Yeah, so a little bit of staggering in between the three of us. And we've been doing different things since then. I guess for Carter, you just got back. How is it being back? What's it like? How's the change? How's the transition for you?
Um,
What are you doing with your time? What are you planning on doing with your time?
I haven't
That would
had
be a good
any
question.
time to do anything
Yeah.
yet. Like obviously we're doing this and like other stuff, but it's just kind of been running. But I was telling this to someone else, but I feel like I've learned more in the last 2 days about like myself and like my family than I did in like my first like week in the MTC. Just in kind of the way of like I've kind of been blessed with like my family relationship. Like before my mission, I was like I don't know, I was kind of just annoyed with my family and like I didn't have the greatest relationship with my siblings. And now kind of coming back after that 2 years, I'm kind of seeing my whole family dynamic in a new light, and I'm able to like I just love them so much, and like I always did, but it's also reciprocated. Like my little brother, he was so excited to see me, and he will not leave my side. I'm like, dang, I don't remember enjoying this before my mission, and so now it's one of those things where I'm learning a lot about who I want to become, because you have these 2 years to apply yourself in very spirit led situations where you're focused on teaching the gospel and those things. But I feel like once you get home, it's kind of like you're trying to apply those in just an unwritten story. Like my story for the rest of my life is not written, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to apply those essentially puzzle pieces that I've been given on my mission. But as I continue to do the things I need to and I should, I just feel like those puzzle pieces are going to fall into place, and I'm going to continue to learn and grow. And I've heard like various things from different return missionaries, like in different ways they struggle, and different ways that they had struggles adjusting. And so I'm sure that those struggles will come, because I feel like as far as I am now, like I'm just kind of numb, just going with the flow, just enjoying my time with family. But when kind of life sets in, that's gonna set my course of okay, now that things are normal and all the photos that my mom's taking are gone, and all the family that came and all my friends that are visiting from other places are gone, what am I going to choose to do with my time and to be effective, and just those kind of things. I think that'll be a true test, but I know where I want to go. It's just an aspect of getting there.
Yeah, and I definitely say those like small habits and principles from the mission you're talking about is like the best way to get there. I definitely feel like 'cause I've been home for 5 months now, and I definitely am more appreciative of those principles and habits now than ever. Because when I was a missionary and I was living them because I was supposed to, and it was a little easier to because everyone around me was living those as well. I appreciated it then, but now that I kind of don't have as much of a structure, I'm kind of figuring my way out through life. I have those things to rely on and to lean on, and it's just helping support me and get me through. Um, and I've just come to appreciate that just so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I found a lot of convenience in being a missionary in certain ways. I loved the schedule and the structure. I loved knowing every day exactly when I was going to wake up and what I was going to do in the order I was going to do it in every morning. I loved knowing exactly what I was going to do every day, planning out my day to the T every single minute. I knew what I was going to be doing or what I was supposed to be doing. That plan would change throughout the day, right? But you always had a plan. You always knew what you were doing. I always ate at the same time of day, lunch and dinner, and went to bed at the same time. And I loved that because it took all the stress out of choosing how to spend my time. You still, as a missionary, had to decide how you were going to spend your time in terms of what kind of missionary work you were going to do, but you knew that you were going to be doing missionary work of some kind that day. And now it's different, right? You get home and you have family pulling for your attention, and you want to give your attention to them. You have school that's pulling your attention, and I don't want to give my attention to school, but I have to. Work, that's a weird relationship between attention and time and reward. Different relationships, friendships. I've been dating an awesome girl since I've been home, and that requires attention, and that's an amazing thing. And so it's a hard choice. I wake up every day, and I'm like, man, I want to go to the gym today. I need to go to class. I need to do homework. I want to spend time with these people. I need to eat. And I also want to just like chill for a little bit. How am I going to arrange all of those and when am I going to do this and that? And it's hard because you don't fit everything in most of the time. And there's other people whose expectations are tied to that. And so if you don't spend time with certain people or do things for certain people that are expecting you to do that, then their expectations aren't met, and that's on you, and that's hard. Even now I'm dealing with that. Like, I am sitting here and we need to fly back to Provo in a couple hours, and there's different things that are pulling for my attention, like all these different people and things in time, and it's hard to figure out what to do. That's been, for me, the biggest challenge is time, how to spend your time, because there's a finite amount of it. I can't save it. I can't, like, save up time and store it for later, like money or food or anything else. The only thing I can do is choose how to spend the time that I have right now, invest in the future, and hope that I can spend my time wisely then. And in relation to that, I think the 2 years of being a missionary was the best investments of time that I could have ever made in my life. The 2 years of being a missionary, Carter's dad told me this before I left, is like 22 years of serving as a leader in the church packed into 2 years. And that does a lot of things for my character and who I am and the kind of person I will be in the future. So being home is super fun. There's a lot of nice things about it, but it brings its unique challenges that are also difficult. But with the things that I learned on the mission, it's bearable and it's doable and it's joyful and it's fun.
Yeah. All of a sudden, there's not enough time in the day.
I know.
I definitely agree. I kind of wanted to transition about talking about the future. So we've been talking about the past quite a bit and doing some reflecting, which has been awesome. So now, we're all home from our missions. Me and Tyler are up at school, been at BYU for the last couple months. We're all kind of figuring things out, but I'm just kind of interested on what are your guys' plans for the future, for the next foreseeable amount of time.
I like that question. One reason why is because something that was kind of cool when preparing to go home as a missionary, you get this thing called My Plan, which helps you to kind of like plan ahead. And one of the questions is like, where do you see yourself in like a year from now? And it's just very interesting to think about because it could change so much. But for me, I plan to work here in Arizona for a month or two. And then for the summer, I'm going to be an FSY counselor. So I'm going to be hopping around the country, just helping kids have spiritual experiences and having a good time. And so I'm excited for that. And then come fall, around August or so, I'm going to head back up to BYU, Idaho to go study. Right now I'm planning to go into business management with a minor in marketing. So that's about my plan so far.
Seems like a pretty good plan.
To be determined.
Yeah.
It will change.
See how it is
It
by the
will
time you get there.
It will change in many ways. Yeah, I mean, my plan is very tied to Dallas's plan. We live together in Provo. Dallas and I have been long-standing roommates, college roommates,
That's right.
and it's been awesome. We've had our fair share of random roommate situations, and those are always interesting and fun. And so, yeah, the plan for me as of now is to work and go to school, and then this summer especially just to work as much as I can so I can be as prepared as I can for the next semester in the fall as this semester comes to a close. And then, yeah, in terms of like career, I'm thinking about going into physical therapy or personal training in some aspects right now. I'm also thinking about potentially teaching at an institute or seminary. So I've been talking to different people and doing different things, looking into those things. And I'm not super sure exactly what the future is going to look like. But you set goals and you make plans and you hope for the best and trust, like you said, Dallas, trust God that He's going to take care of you. And
Just as needed.
And I've found that He always does, as long as I do what He would have me do. And what I don't know about what He would have me do, if I don't know, then I just do what I think is best. The idea is, as I am becoming more like Jesus Christ, then I will be more likely to make the decisions and the choices that He would make. And so I don't necessarily, I mean, I think the more I become like Christ, the older I get. Hopefully those two things are in line with each other. The older I get, I become more like Jesus Christ, hopefully. But as that happens, God's not going to need to be smacking me over the head with the gold plates or sending me an email trying to tell me exactly what I need to be doing at every point in my life or every decision I should make. He's going to be trusting me more and more to make choices that are in line with his will because I am more in line with his will as a person. And so I'm finding that to be true and hoping and trusting that that's the case and just moving forward as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Definitely sometimes easier said than done, but just keep doing like what you think is right and things always tend to work out. Um,
What about you, Dallas? What's your plan?
yeah, my plan, well,
Well,
so right now, just finishing up the semester of school. I'm also doing FSY counseling this summer, like Carter. So that's something I really look forward to. And then right now I'm just in school to do. Right now the plan is marriage and family therapy. Kind of the reason behind that is just kind of came out of left field. It was definitely not like something I considered at all before my mission. So that's definitely a way that I've changed. But I feel like the family just needs some help, needs some assistance because there's a lot attacking the family nowadays. So I want to be there to defend the family. And I think I've also realized, I try and be uplifting and kind to people. And I do that not because I necessarily care about, how they feel about me, but I care about how people feel about themselves. And I just want everyone to know that they're loved and they're awesome, right? So that's kind of been my motivation for that. Other than that, not really too much of a plan, but just kind of trying to do what's right and have fun doing it. So,
amen.
That's the truth.
Well, as we kind of wrap this up, we began this whole podcast project as 18-year-old, as we put it, almost adults, which I don't think that's very good English.
that was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Dallas is 22. I'm about to be 22.
21.
Carter's
baby.
on his way.
Working on it.
When we began this idea, we thought, well, this would be fun thing to do. Maybe in 10, 20, 30 years, we look back, get together, listen to a couple of these, and maybe show our future kids and people that we care about what we were like when we were 18, 19, 20, and 21, 22, however old we are when we keep doing this.
It does not feel like that long ago.
No,
It really
feels
doesn't.
like yesterday.
Time flies.
Another thing I will say about a mission is you kind of go and you start and you think, man, 2 years, that is a long time. Because if you go when you're 20, that's a tenth of your life. Like, that's a long period of time. But you come back and you look back and you're like, where did it go?
I definitely feel like when I left, people always told me the mission would go by fast. When I first started, I was like,
Yeah, right.
they were totally lying to me. This thing is going to take
You didn't believe it until
forever.
you started slipping. You're like, oh crap.
Scratching off the days. It's only been 2 weeks.
This is going to be the longest 2 years of my life. I definitely feel like near the end, and now that I've been home, it was a blink of an eye. It went by so fast.
It's like a weird dream.
Yeah.
You want to start backpedaling. You're like, I want more time. But it keeps going. There's nothing more worthless than time that's behind you.
Exactly. They always talk about when you leave to go on a mission, how hard it is to go on a mission. Trying to be like real with you, like in the youth or whatever, and trying to be like, yeah, it's hard to go on a mission, but it's great. It's worth it. And it's true. That's super true. It is hard to be a missionary to start, to be in your training and whatever at the beginning of your mission, but they don't talk about how much harder it is to come home from a mission. It's the hardest thing to come home because you go out and you give 100% of yourself to these people, to God, to your companions, to your mission president, to all these people that you love and care about. and you put everything on the line. You put your time into it, you put your resources into it, and it becomes your life. It becomes who you are. And then to just leave all of that behind for good. When you go out on your mission, you know you're going to come back home. And things are going to be different, but they're mostly going to be the same. For some people, they are drastically different, but for most people, it's mostly the same. But when you come home from your mission, you know that you're never going to be a missionary again in that place with those people in that way. And so coming home, it's like a part of you kind of dies in a way, and it's really tough. And now you're home and you're trying to mend these two different people. Like I'm trying to mend Tyler from before the mission together with Elder Jones from the mission. Two different people in a way, trying to make them one person, and it's hard. But all that to say that we're now a lot different than we were before, and that's a beautiful thing. And we'll continue to change. Maybe not as quickly as we have over the past 2 years. But the changes will continue to happen, and hopefully they're positive ones. And those of you who are listening, all 5 of you, you'll be there to hear how those changes go.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening.
We don't know when our next episode will be, but we're grateful we're able to do this one, and maybe it was a little bit more for us than it was for you, but for those who are still here, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we love y'all a ton. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Carter, do you have any final words to share?
And with that, we bid you adieu.
And remember, it's a world out there.
Go explore a little bit of it. You can go. Texas is pretty good.
Washington's great as well.
Don't go to
beautiful.
Louisiana. Please don't go to Louisiana.